So I started my career in tech generally over more than 17 years ago now. And I started off as an instructor. And uh, my background is in software development. That's how I started my career. And with time, I ended up developing this desire to understand beyond software. So I started learning other things like networking, hardware, and moved into project management. So to keep it short, my career has grown from a software developer to what the role back then. I did a stint as an engineer, worked at a help desk, sorted mail issues, mail and security in an enterprise, and later on continued in the training industry. And along the way, I got to start a relationship with CompTIA as their representative for Sub-Saharan Africa. And my role involves working with partners such as Moringa to empower them and work with them on initiatives like this, where we get to showcase and let people know about CompTIA, because people do not understand CompTIA that much, and how we deliver the various courses and certifications. I'll speak a bit more about this angle of CompTIA in terms of what we do later on as I proceed. Yep. So that's a summarized version of my introduction. Right. So do I just go ahead, or you have the next question?
No, let's go ahead with the presentation, and then we'll have questions at the end.
Okay. All right. Can you see my screen okay? Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay,
Yes.
good. All right. Yeah, so I will pause at some point and get back to the audience. So to determine whether certifications are worth it, I want to discuss today about cybersecurity and the skill requirements, and then what exactly are the industry expectations. Now, some of us do not know about CompTIA. I'm going to discuss and give you an overview about what we do. And I'll introduce one of the reports that are worked on by us, by CompTIA, the State of Cybersecurity for 2024. CompTIA has a research arm that actually does this continuously. And then we shall delve into what are those career pathways and certifications. Now, CompTIA, and you can see here how we pronounce it, CompTIA. So this is the Computing Technology Industry Association, all right? Technology Industry Association. We are the world's largest non-profit IT association. We were founded back in 1982, so we are, we've been here for a while, and we provide globally recognized vendor-neutral technology certifications. So far, we've issued over 3.5 million certifications across the world. And among the things that we do, I've already mentioned earlier that we do research. We have a research arm, and we are going to see the kind of reports that they do that are relevant for the tech industry, as well as this discussion today organized by Moringa. Moringa is a partner of CompTIA, so they deliver our content and certifications as well. Now, as we proceed, this is our mission. We want to become the most respected place to acquire tech skills, from digital fluency to expert. All right. Now, I'll come back to this later. So if you go to Google right now and you type State of Cybersecurity 2024 CompTIA, you're going to get this latest report that I'm hoping will shed some light in answering that question for ourselves, whether the certifications are worth it. But before we get there, let's get an overview. This is developed by CompTIA. This is the IT certification roadmap. And if you look to the right here of the screen, we have cybersecurity. Now, I want to hear from the audience in a bit. Let's focus on cybersecurity for now. Let's focus on this top part here. So I want to understand from each of us, where are you? Are you a beginner or novice? Are you at intermediate level? Are you at advanced level? Do you consider yourself an expert in tech generally, or more specifically in cybersecurity? Let's hear from the audience. Where do you put yourself as far as your skills? Where do you see yourself? Are you at beginner or novice, right? Are you at intermediate? Are you advanced? Are you expert? Type here and let us know. And as you let us know your level in tech or in cybersecurity, let us know what qualifies you to be at that level. Okay, that's very interesting, Frank. You're intermediate and beginner at the same time. Okay, someone else not yet started. All right, Edwin, thank you. If you consider your skill in tech or cybersecurity, where do you place yourself? Okay, thank you, Bernadette. Thank you, Collins. All right. Okay, this is good. Somewhere between beginning and intermediate. Okay, okay, beginner. All right. Okay, good. Okay, good responses. Good responses. Now, why am I asking this question? Reason is industry is structured that way. Industry, when you go to look for opportunities, whether it is a gig, a one-off gig, or if you're going to apply for a job, all right? At which point are you entering that role, that job? Okay, that's the point of the question. Now, we are talking about industry. We're talking about you getting a gig. Now, what is the qualification? What do you have to show if that is what you want to do? If you want to show that you're a cybersecurity intermediate person. So this is the IT certification roadmap created by CompTIA, and we are showing you at this level, okay? If you follow this path of cybersecurity, it has a similar color, and you look at underneath. So at beginner or novice level, if you are at this level, you should have these certifications. Now, anything red is from CompTIA, all right? Anything red. So this is A+, this is IT fundamentals, this is Project Plus. At intermediate level, the red ones, again, these are CompTIA, but beneath that, you see we have other certifications from other vendors, other players that exist, right? From Cisco, from Microsoft, and so on and so forth. That is under intermediate. So what am I saying? What is this communicating? That according to industry, if you want to categorize yourself, you want to show proof, you need certification. Certification is important. You need to show that I am prepared for this job role, all right, through certification. If you look at advanced level, again, there you can see what is coming from CompTIA, what is under, what is coming from other vendors that are also players in the market. And we got all the way up to cybersecurity. So this helps you to start formulating an answer for yourself. Are certifications worth it? Now, I will let you think about it and make a decision. Is it a yes or a no? All right. Now, this IT certification roadmap is created by CompTIA, like I said, and CompTIA offers all our training, all our certifications are vendor neutral. We do not focus on a specific vendor. We provide you the foundation on whatever area or whatever subject, such that you are very flexible in terms of your skills, in terms of transitioning. If you're looking at cloud expertise, for example, you can easily transition from one vendor to another should your environment change. So, are certifications worth it? Industry seems to say that they're worth it because industry, the person, the human that is going to be on the other end interviewing you when you come to say, I want to apply for this role, they want to know at which point will they, at which point are you, what is the value you're going to bring, what is the salary structure you're going to be offered in that organization, in that role that you've applied for. So according to industry, that's one area that certifications will be relevant. Now, let's continue and see other angles. Cybersecurity as a whole, okay? What are the objectives? If you're considering cybersecurity as the line you want to pursue. So you want to protect privacy, you want to mitigate risk, you want to demonstrate trust, you want to ensure productivity, minimize disruption. Don't we know about this from a Kenyan perspective? We want to maintain compliance, we want to protect critical assets, right? So these are the objectives of cybersecurity. Now, according to this report that was released by CompTIA for 2024 about cybersecurity, many issues drive the cybersecurity concerns. Now, what are those concerns? See at the top at 45%, the scale of potential attacks or overall threat to business. Consider the financial institutions, right? When there is a threat, the revenue is lost. And of course, you don't get to hear a lot of it unless it is really major. We only see a tip of the iceberg, so to speak. But if you speak to the people in the industry, the different industries, it's not just financial, but you will see this in the press that breaches have occurred, attacks were there on some specific systems, and that is a threat to business. Again, privacy concerns, right? Handling other people's data, compliance with regulations, and something interesting here is, of course, generative AI, which we'll take a look at a bit later. But this is just an outcome, part of what we are seeing in the report. And like I said, it's available, you can download it. These are some of the many issues that drive the cybersecurity concerns. Now, if you look at the top three, right? The top three, these cut across different sectors, right? They cut across all sectors. There is no one specific sector that can say they're suffering as one sector. No, but these are very common. Now, this is going to be a game changer in a number of ways, and they are concerns. Now, This last part here, the breadth of cybersecurity skills needed, right? So these are driving cybersecurity concerns. Now, this is again one of the items to follow through in this report to see how it's going to shed light on the possible answers that whether are the certifications really worth it. So those are the issues driving the cybersecurity concerns. Now, in the past year, what has happened? So there has been greater focus on process improvement. There has been a higher priority on determining proper response to incidents, and look at that one. Number 3, a greater focus on employee education, right? Because when the users are not educated, that's already a weak link, so to speak, right? Now, this is what has happened in the last year, according to the report. All right. Now, again, top 3. You want processes to be improved because of the trends that have been occurring, the trends that have been there. Okay. You want to determine the proper response to incidents. You have noticed, again, across when there is an attack, you've noticed even from a Kenyan perspective, East African perspective, organizations have been communicating. We have had a breach, and this is what happened. This is what we are doing about it, and so on and so forth. So people want to get educated as well. So this has been happening, and the last one here should also be interesting. There has been a shift to proactive assessment or evaluation measures, right? Previously, there was no attention paid to, let's just let's just continue business as usual. But right now, organizations have been shifting to a proactive assessment and having evaluation measures. They don't want to wait to be the next example on the news or to share with their customers that we have had an incident, and that can be embarrassing. So this is what has happened in the past year, according to the report. Again, we have the use of new metrics to track success of security efforts. We'll get to see another aspect of this a bit later. All right. Now, here, again, to answer the question, the trend has been that there is creation of dedicated cybersecurity resources or team, right? There has been a creation of that. Now, at this point, I would like to point at something that a trend that has been there locally from a Kenyan perspective. How many big tech organizations do we know that have come to Kenya, set up in the last 6 years? In the last 6 years, you can put it on the chart. How many big tech organizations have come to set up in Kenya in the last 6 years? Big tech organizations. How many? Or you can name them. It's okay. You can name them. I want us to understand the trend. Very good. Very good, Wendo. This is true. They have either set up afresh, or they have increased, the number of resources that are there in their offices. Any other examples? Fine. You can even extend that period. Let's see. I want us to count together. If the organization has been mentioned, no need to mention it. Just add to the list. Which other? Yes. That brings the number to 3. 4. 5. Okay. Fine. We'll take it. 5. Okay. The last one is very interesting. Okay. So let's look at the span of the last 5, 6 years. Now, these organizations, fine, they might have been existing, they might have set up afresh. Tell me, what have you noticed from the press looking around? Where do you think the people that were hired, did they just appear? They were right here with us, correct? They were in this country. So where were they? You know, by the time they were hired, they were somewhere else, correct? They were somewhere else. Now, they moved from wherever they were, they moved into these new organizations. So that was phase 1. So space was created for others to get hired to replace those who moved, correct? Then what happened? These organizations did not all come in at the same time. They came in at different times. Now, if you do your research, if you go to LinkedIn, if you look around, telcos, Safaricom's, the Airtels, the various telcos that we have, the various banks, the finance sector, the experts that were at the top are the ones who actually moved. You can actually take a look, and you can actually trace some of those profiles, people who moved during the first round when these organizations came in, and then again within these organizations that came in, there was another shift because that has continued. That what can you call it? That growth has continued. So what does this tell you? It tells you that the people getting these opportunities, do you think they are moving, they're just being picked blindly? They have to have something. They have to bring something, right? They're bringing their experience, they're bringing their credentials, they're bringing their expertise back to you. Do you think certifications are worth it in cybersecurity, right? Because this is one of the sectors again. So back to cybersecurity, we are seeing that there is a trend. This is a worldwide trend of creation of dedicated cybersecurity resources or teams. So that means, again, from that example I've just given, there is a growth. So people are shifting, people are moving. And these people who are moving, they are not just moving for the sake of it. It's not a lucky, it's not random, is what I'm saying. It's not random. All right. Now, let's come to organizations. So in the organizational cybersecurity strategy, according to the report, there was, these are like in any organization, if you go to a bank, if you go to a SACCO, if you go to a telco, what in cybersecurity is going to be considered, what is going to be part of the strategy. So there is incident detection or response. There is thinking about what is the business continuity, what is the disaster recovery plan, right? Again, governance, risk, and compliance. So those top 3 are standard. If you go to any organization, any entity that is serious about cybersecurity, these are areas they have to address. So this, again, is, according to the report, areas that have been identified to be priority areas. Now, notice number 4. This is actually being assessed. Organizations have started to make sure that there is a workforce assessment, there is a workforce education to make sure that they are compliant. They are not going to be found, clueless that this attack can happen. No one was monitoring. So people need to have awareness. All right. So that is the areas. Those are the areas that organizations have started to address in their cybersecurity strategy. So those are the top 3 common across all sectors. But the one that I wanted us to see is about the workforce and what is happening to the workforce. Now, what are the challenges that were identified in the report? So there is a low understanding of new cybersecurity threats, overall. There's prioritization of other technology. And there is, of course, the belief that current security, we are okay. But look at this highlight. Cybersecurity skill gaps among internal employees. There is something interesting that was also picked on the report, which we'll see tied to the cybersecurity skill gaps. So what are we seeing so far? We are trying to address the aspect of, one, the skills, right? And we are seeing that generally organizations have started to make sure that there is awareness across all the employees of the organization. There is special attention being given to, as an organization, we have to have a strategy for these various areas of cybersecurity. And here, this still is standing out as a challenge. At 35%, according to the report, the cybersecurity skill gaps among internal employees, this continues or remains to be a challenge. Now, we talked about AI, and here is a use case that is coming up, right? Where can AI help in cybersecurity? Of course, monitoring traffic and detecting malware, automating configuration, and according to the report, 51% of organizations surveyed, they view generative AI as a step forward in existing AI and machine learning practices. 42% said that generative AI is driving first-time exploration of AI adoption. So in short, this is an area that is being leveraged, an area that is being seen as promising, an area that is being seen as, this can help us as, create solutions to these threats. We don't necessarily have to put everything based on manpower, based on a human, right? This is just another way of finding solutions to the issues coming up in cybersecurity. So this came up in the report. Now, this other aspect of analyzing user behavior patterns, this of course stood out in the report, and it was very interesting. Now, yep, we have that other area, generating tests of cybersecurity defenses, right? If you have created some sort of remedy, remedial measures that should we receive, should we be attacked, should we have this threat being exploited, then how can we test to make sure that our defenses are going to match these threats? So those are potential uses of AI. And yeah, predicting the future, where in the future might breaches occur, all right? And finally, automating the response to cybersecurity incidents. So these are just potential uses of AI. Now, let's come to the skill requirements. What are the skill requirements? Here is where we narrow down on cybersecurity, where we started. Remember, the first question was, where are you? Are you intermediate? Are you advanced? Are you a beginner? So now we are looking at tying that question and your answer with what are the pathways, right? So there are two colors here. The first color is referring to the previous year, 2020, the last year, 2023. And the other color, I'm avoiding naming the colors, but Sasha can help to name those colors. I will not try. So looking at the 2 years for 2023, 2022. So promoted from IT infrastructure to cybersecurity role. Okay, these are the scores that in 2022 it was 46%. Then we moved to 2023, 41%. So people who are in the roles, again, coming back to the example that I was giving, that there was a shift when organizations came and so on, they may not necessarily have been in areas of cybersecurity. There were cybersecurity roles, yes, okay, especially in those sectors. We talked about finance, telco, and so on. But this is something that is interesting. You can read more about it from the report, that there were people promoted from the IT infrastructure roles to cybersecurity roles. And then the other interesting one was people, the shift. You can see there is a change in 2023 that people promoted from business units to cybersecurity roles increased. Now, what does this tell you? During the icebreaker question asked by Sasha, the question that you were answering was about before you landed in cybersecurity, what were you thinking of doing, or what would you still pursue? It is still important, right? Those other, like someone was talking about finance, right? It is still important because when you're looking at cybersecurity, it's not a skill that is going to be dedicated only to a specific sector. It applies across. It applies in finance. It applies in other sectors as well. All right. So that is just to point out that cybersecurity does not exist just by itself. There are other areas that you can still grow from, right? That are still important, that are still relevant, so that you can be a well-seasoned cybersecurity professional. So you might be taking care of infrastructure. You might have started your path as a developer. You might have started your path as a help desk analyst. It doesn't really matter. You can still end up occupying or working towards a cybersecurity role. All right. So, and that is shown by the results in that report. Now, these again are areas that are taken care of if you're in cybersecurity, right? You will be looking at cryptography, network infrastructure security, application security. So tying this to the previous slide where I was saying that it is not necessarily meaning that if cybersecurity is the path, you just have to do everything cybersecurity. No. It still counts, even if you are coming from a different area. You're working with data. You can still end up in cybersecurity. You're working in infrastructure. You can still end up in cybersecurity. Now, these are just areas where cybersecurity personnel take care of. All right. Now, what is the solution? Now, given that background, what is the solution? Are these worth it? And what exactly do they cover? So in CompTIA, these are the pathways that we provide for you. You can start wherever you're comfortable. You might be at this level. If you look at the bottom left, pre-professional level, right? You can be at entry level. It does not really matter where you are. The previous slide, there's a slide that I showed earlier when I was talking about the IT industry as a whole and what is recognized depending on where you're headed, right? And that's where we started by saying, at which level are you? So CompTIA allows you enter where it makes sense for you, right? Enter where it makes sense for you and grow from there. You might be at infrastructure, all right? You do this course, learn about hardware, software, help desk, learn about networking, then move forward, understand a bit about servers, do Linux, then move into security plus. You might be following this path. You don't get to do Linux or server plus because that's not infrastructure, but you can now move into cybersecurity analyst, penetration tester, or advanced practitioner, right? The name is going to change in this year in November, Security X. Now, data and analytics, this is the data path, right? Now, this is what CompTIA provides you with the capability to jump in at whatever stage. What is required if you want to enter at this stage, Security Plus? The prerequisite is that you have to have knowledge, working knowledge of whatever is covered in these courses. That is the idea. If you want to come to this cybersecurity analyst, then it means you have to have had the prerequisite from this particular course called Security Plus. So Moringa offers you all this depending on where are you getting in from, right? Do you meet the prerequisite? Why they will let you know that you need to meet the prerequisite is because certain things are assumed. You might be doing your cybersecurity analyst course, but no one is going to focus on networking, for example. No one is going to start focusing on how do you set up your virtual machine, how do you do certain things that are considered basic. That is why you need to meet the prerequisites, all right? At this point, I hope so far we are clear. I'm going to pause for a bit here, and Sasha, if you can confirm, do we have any questions so far?
Okay, thanks, Benjamin. Let me check the chat box. Okay. Anyone with a question for Benjamin up to that point before we proceed?
Hi, my name is David. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
David.
Good, yeah. So I wanted to find out, so if I wanted to start at cybersecurity analyst, you said that you'd need to do a determination of my prerequisite skills. So who establishes your requisite skill? Is it a test that you do to determine your skill set, or how is that determined? Thanks.
Yeah, good question. So I'll answer one part of this. So as CompTIA, we have provided guidelines. We have provided course content. We equip the instructors, the experts with the tools to make sure that they can deliver each of these courses the way it's meant to be delivered. However, when now it comes to determining do you meet the prerequisites, the guideline offered is that you should have done the previous course, the course that is below the one that you want to undertake. In this case, if you're talking about the cybersecurity analyst, then you should have done Security Plus. Now, we go back to that earlier slide that I was asking the audience, which level are you? Are you intermediate, beginner, and so on? So under each of those areas, under beginner, under intermediate, there is a list of certifications. The certifications are not just from CompTIA, they are from CompTIA and other players in the market. So if you have a certification that is shown on that list, then it means you meet the prerequisite, because we are talking about the industry as a whole. All right. Now, that's one side of looking at this. The other side of looking at it is when you come to Moringa and you say, I'm interested in this, they have a team that will sit down with you to understand your background, to understand what do you do, for example, to understand, so you say you've been employed, what is your role? What is your day-to-day? So those are other ways of determining if you meet the prerequisites. So you're not going to, the idea is that you're not going to end up in a class and you will be looking like the only stranger. Everyone seems to be communicating in a different language, and everything is passing over your head. So the prerequisites are determined in various ways, but the best approach would be come with your CV, come have a chat. Sasha will give you guidelines on who to see, and they're going to make sure that even you understand, okay, these are the prerequisites. Okay, let's come to the proof. Have you done this? do you work? Have you done a project, and so on and so forth? Yeah.
Yeah, spot on, Benjamin. Yeah, like he said, there are different organizations that offer this beginner level certifications for you to qualify for the cyber analyst course. So internally at Moringa School, when you go through our website, of which we'll share the link in a few, my colleague Steve will be assisting me. He'll be sharing the link to that course in a few. On our admissions criteria, we provide you with the details of the prerequisites for the course. So those are the things that we'll be looking at, even in your application form entry. We also require you to submit maybe like previous certifications, relevant IT, networking, hardware certifications that you have done before. Just upload them, we'll verify, then you'll have a sit down with our admissions representative just to get to know a bit about your background and how best the various cybersecurity programs will work for your benefit. Yeah, I just wanted to add that on top of what Benjamin has already shared. So I hope we've answered your question.
Yes, thanks.
Okay. All right. So are there any other questions? All right. So Jimmy is asking, if you're new in tech, okay, this is like, it's confusing. If you're new in tech, you need to pursue more tech. I think he's just like agreeing with with what you've shared. It's like he's sharing a learning from your
All right.
presentation. Like you need to continuously advance yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Then Frank is saying, I understand the importance of getting certifications. However, many job requirements require on-the-job experience. So how is CompTIA supporting aspiring cybersecurity personnel in this?
Okay. All right. Good question. So I started by saying CompTIA has a partnership with Moringa. One of the elements of partnership is that Moringa has met certain requirements to, to say they are partners. It's not just a certificate showing this is our partner and so on and so forth. Among those requirements is how do they deliver these courses? All right. I'll go into the after this. I'll go into the what is covered in these courses, right? And to just give an overview. But I want to come back to, as these courses are being delivered by our partner Moringa, they follow guidelines. Part of the guidelines are, number one, the content that they give to you. They are not going to, okay, we are all, I think the audience is Kenyan. So I'll use the word, they are not going to give you Juakali content. They are not going to go and download some funny PDF from a website, a free one, and then charge you and say, yeah, here it is. Here is the content. They will use content that is coming from the source, which is CompTIA, all right? So that's one on the content. Content that matches with the exam objectives, all right? Content that has been researched and gets updated continuously. Anytime there's a change in any of the subject areas, each of the products, each of the courses has their own life of updating. So anytime there's something new in that industry for that subject matter, then changes always are done, and then the course is released. You have a new version. So Moringa gives you the content straight from CompTIA, right, to deliver the right thing to you. Now, when it comes to the experience element, besides CompTIA providing this content, it is researched, and there are two main objectives. CompTIA is after building skills and competencies. Now, these skills and competencies are qualified by you not only understanding, but you being able to apply the knowledge. Let me give an example. if you are learning about cloud, right? Again, question for the audience. How many clouds do you know about? Cloud technologies. We are not talking about the weather here. Cloud. Okay, 3. Okay, which ones? Name one. Name a vendor of a cloud. Okay, very good. Very good. Yes. Now, all these clouds, they have an entity that manages them, right? And you can go online, you can study about a particular cloud, and you're proficient in that cloud. But when you move from one cloud to the next, all right, will you be doing things that are very different? You'll be doing the same things as an admin, as a cloud admin. You will be doing the same things. You will be allocating resources, whether you're on cloud A, cloud B. You will be required to pay for the subscription, cloud A, cloud B. They are those fundamentals. From a CompTIA perspective, we are going to prepare you with a foundation of now those fundamentals. What is common regardless of cloud A, cloud B? Wherever you will go, you will find a cloud. Wherever you will go, you will find a network. So our content, remember I talked about vendor neutrality. So our content is vendor neutral in that manner, that we introduce you to that foundation, making sure that you have the skills and competencies to manage or to understand clouds, to understand networks, to understand security, to understand servers, whichever subject it is. Then how do we do this? We provide you a lab environment. Okay, again, Moringa are going to provide to each person. You have the official content, you have a lab environment that is pre-configured for you. So you're not going to have an issue where you show up for a session today and the facilitator tells you, oh, today the labs are not working. We ran into some problems. So let us fix it and we resume tomorrow. That is not going to happen. You're going to be provided an environment that is configured appropriately, and that will enable you to learn. So through the process of learning, knowledge acquisition, you get to, one, get to learn the skills and get to create. Now, through the activities, the hands-on activities, you get to acquire those those skills, right? Now, why is that important? By the time you're doing the exam, right? Because that's, again, one of the outcomes that we expect, that you are being taught by a facilitator who is certified in the subject. You're using official content and labs. Now, as a partner, Moringa, they will tell us, hey, we have this many people, they're ready for the exam, they'll be doing it on this date. CompTIA can facilitate, or rather will facilitate, an exam preparation session so that we make sure you are confident before you appear for that exam. So those are some of the ways in which we ensure that you have those hands-on skills. So you cannot cram, I can say this with authority, you cannot download a PDF, read, and then go and do the exam. No, it's not about memorizing. It's about, can you apply that knowledge? We have what we call performance-based questions. You're asked to do stuff. You're asked to apply the knowledge. So if you're asked to apply the knowledge and you fail to do so, you don't get to pass. It's not a matter of cramming content and then just trying to remember. No, that's not the idea. So I hope that question is answered. I think it was Frank who asked the question.
Yes, he confirms. And just to add, I think I like the way the questions are coming in. Just to add, in addition to the technical training and the cybersecurity, certification exam preparations you're going to get, remember with our boot camps at Moringa School, we have a 12-month graduate support program. So as much as maybe you're just getting started in this industry, don't be scared. I think there are opportunities for every level, like entry-level positions, junior positions, internships, projects that you can contribute to. So during this 12-month graduate support program, it's also available for people who go through our cybersecurity bootcamps, okay? So once you graduate from, let's say, the CYSA Plus certification or Security Plus, from the CompTIA certification programs, we'll support you through that graduate program, okay? So there you're gonna, just learn how to land your first entry-level opportunity if you're completely new. If you want to, if you're advancing, you can see from the data report that Benjamin has shared, quite a number, over 40% tend to get promotions once they advance in these certifications. But if you're completely new and you're worried about to navigate, you're going to have that support for 1 full year, okay? So how to position yourself for this new career, the different pathways, the different opportunities that are available, the projects that you're going to work on, because our course is also very practical and project-based. How to prepare for the interviews, position your CV, your portfolio, your online brand, and so forth. There's quite a lot that we do for that 1 year graduate program, just to support people who are completely green and they want to land their first opportunity in cybersecurity or any other tech role. For those who are advancing, you're not left out. There are also workshops and support training programs for you during that graduate, that 1 year graduate support program as well. Yeah, so I hope we've answered your question, Frank, and any person who's just worried about like, yeah, who's going to help me get this 5-year experience. So before we proceed, Benjamin, I have a follow-up question. So
sure.
from the reports that you've shared, we can see that, okay, to get into cybersecurity, you need to have this 5 to 10 year experience. And I just want to like do a follow-up question from what Frank has shared. So what does this 5 to 10 year experience entail? Like, what does that really mean? What are recruiters looking for in this 5 to 10 year experience that they keep asking for?
All right. Now, good question. Good question. So let's put ourselves in interview mode. Can I get a volunteer? Let's make this interesting. Let's get a volunteer. You have some cyber experience. I promise will not be very hard. Let's do a scenario of what you should expect. So as we wait, here's the thing. I'm looking for someone who maybe is starting out. Let's say you have Security Plus, and you've applied for a role, for a position, or let's even take it the next step, Cybersecurity Analyst. Cybersecurity Analyst is a step up, and that's actually now real cybersecurity. Now, among the things that in that role you're supposed to do, or rather in the places that you can work, we have what we call, okay, some of you have done this. What is this on the chat? Anyone have an idea? Any beginner will know that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Anyone who knows what this is, which role this is? A cybersecurity analyst can work in this SOC. Anyone who has an idea? It's okay. It's not an exam. You can Google. At least you will learn something. Anyone? Very good. Very good. Aha. Thank you, Frank. Yes. So those are some of the things that an analyst is supposed to do. Incident response. So here's how it works. if you have, you're applying for that role, you'll be asked questions, scenarios about what is the process of, what are some of the things they do in this security operations center. All right. You might name, okay, 1, 2, 3, and incident response. Then you're asked, okay, there's an incident that has happened, blah, blah. What is the process? Where do we start? How do we contain this? All right. Or we know that this threat has occurred within our industry. How do we protect ourselves? So what you're going to be subjected to is a real life scenario. Okay, they want to see if you can apply your knowledge. All right, if you come here with just theory and you are not able to connect your theory with the specific scenario painted, given, then you have a problem. You are not likely to get the job. So that is the point at which you inspire confidence. All right, now here's the thing. Internships, for example, that's where you go to get some of this experience, right? Internships, volunteering, there could be a project that you volunteered for. There could be this security operations center that was not there, but you went and initiated or helped a certain entity, a certain organization, you initiated for it to start. That is experience, all right? So they might talk about experience of this many years. However, it's not just about the years, it's about how can you quantify that experience, all right? That should be something you're aware of. So it doesn't mean that you have to have been formally employed in sitting on a desk in this organization, in this bank, in this telco, in a SOC. No. What else have you done? Have you written papers? Have you done presentations? Have you gone and volunteered at a university and you taught this module? So all these are aspects of how you package the experience. But it's not just about packaging and writing something, a very long list. It's about being able to articulate that, communicate, right? And communicating with confidence. It's not like you are given a list and told, go and read. You do not appear at an interview and go and put your CV in front of you and start reading. No, you have to have that ability to communicate, to express yourself with confidence. So experience is quantified. It is not just spoken about, that I was there for 2 years. I was here for 1 year. No, quantify the experience, all right? That's why on LinkedIn, for example, as one of the tools, you have options where you can list areas you've volunteered, all right? And under each role, you specify something significant that you did, a project you are involved in, and so on. So, and you even have people who can vouch for you on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, again, you have, once you've identified a skill, you have a skill in an area, they will ask you to contribute to specific questions. Because you said you've worked as a, in a security operations center, how do you manage incidents? What are the best approaches? What is the standard approach of managing incidents? You contribute. That is experience. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, total sense. I think we can continue with the
Right.
presentation, then we take questions after.
Yeah.
But if anyone has questions, please leave them in the chat box.
Now, I'm not sure if you can still see my screen.
Not yet. Please share.
Okay. Okay, let me share once more. Right, so enter Where it makes sense for you, meet the prerequisite, continue. That was the point here, okay? Pick a pathway, enter. Pick a pathway, you can still end up in cybersecurity because it is, you know, the steps that matter, meeting the prerequisites that matters. All right, now let's look at the courses. Let's look at what exactly is covered. All right, now Security Plus, which I've mentioned, this is what is covered in Security Plus. The skills and competencies. Remember I mentioned this, the skills and competencies. Which skills and competencies will you be exposed to? General concepts, threats, vulnerabilities, mitigations, security architecture, operations. This is where that discussion came from, the SOC, all right? Incident response and so on, security program management and oversight. So those are the skills and competencies. Now, each of these are followed by, you know, content. So there is knowledge acquisition, there is the practice through the labs, hands-on labs, and the roles that you can you can fill, you can apply for after this. These are things that you can easily validate on LinkedIn. Go and pick a certification, and then you see these roles via geography and so on and so forth. As in on LinkedIn, go pick Security Plus as a qualification, enter it and choose a geography, choose a country, and you'll get some info because LinkedIn will summarize it for you, right? Among other sources or other places you can check. Okay, now right here come the prerequisites. You see this? Back to that question that was asked. So the prerequisites for this, you should have CompTIA A+ and Network Plus, 2 years of experience in IT administration with a security focus. So it's not all about just head knowledge. It's about, can that knowledge be applied, right? Can that knowledge be applied? These are some examples of organizations that use Security Plus, right? They may not be localized for now, but they will still apply across the multiple sectors. Now, here comes the cybersecurity analyst certification. So this is for cyber professionals tasked with incident detection, prevention, and response through continuous security monitoring. So the skills and competencies, security operations, vulnerability management, incident response and management, reporting and communication. So this is an analyst role. So day-to-day tasks, you know, those are the security operations. What do you do, you know? And then vulnerability management. Now, I want to bring in a term that you must have had, you might have had as we proceed. So Security Plus, the beginning. Now you're a cybersecurity analyst and you are working in a, you know, places that you can work is this security operations center analyst, right? Incident response analyst, vulnerability management analyst, security engineer. Now, those are the job roles. Again, let's look at the prerequisites. Okay, Network Plus, Security Plus, or equivalent knowledge. Remember the IT certifications framework that we checked and showing like, are you entry level, are you intermediate, and so on. And here again comes the experience angle, minimum of 4 years of hands-on information security or related experience. All right. Yeah. Now, let's move. There is something interesting that, okay, no one has asked, but let's see. You see Security Plus is right here. Analyst is up here. Then there is this one here. Can anyone tell me why are these on opposite sides? Why are they on opposite sides? CYSA Plus and Pentest Plus. Anyone with an idea? This tells you it's no longer just lateral. It's like two sides of the coin, literally, two sides of the coin. Who can give an idea why this is the case? I'll tell you. This one, cybersecurity analyst, what are you doing? You are monitoring, right? You're handling security operations, incident response and management, reporting and communication, right? Now, what do you do as a pen test? This is an intermediate certification for cyber professionals tasked with penetration testing and vulnerability management. Now, what do you cover? Attacks and exploits, information gathering, tools and code analysis, planning and scoping. Now, there are two sides to cybersecurity. One side is you're protecting, right? The other side, you need to validate that protection. Okay, how sure are you this is safe? Very good, Frank. You got it. Now, question for you. Which one is red? Which one is blue? Between pen test and CYSA plus. Pen test plus, CYSA plus. But you got it right. You got it right. So, red is pen test. Yes. So blue is cybersecurity analyst. Okay, very good. Very good. So here is where now I say that you cannot be a good, or rather, practicality based on how you want your career to go, based on what role do you want to play. Maybe you have some background in creating applications, creating software, and you want now to make sure that your software is, secure. Your software maybe is used in financial sectors, banking, circles, and so on. You might consider first doing pen test so that you can make sure your deployed software is secure, right? On the other hand, you may want to also understand how do you protect, okay? When your software is deployed in a certain environment, it's networked, it's cloud, it's on premise, whatever deployment your software is in, you want to understand those two sides. So here is where you take some time and process. Where do you want to start? So it's really up to you. But yeah, blue team is analyst, pen test is red. And yeah, prerequisites again for pen test plus, network plus, security plus, or equivalent knowledge, minimum of 3 to 4 years of hands-on experience working in a security consultant or penetration tester job role. Now, I talked about gigs earlier, and here's where I remind you, with your skill, okay, there are actually people who get these jobs to come and test softwares for organizations who are brought in that, okay, we've acquired this software, and normally the person who supplies, devices, hardware, software is not necessarily the one who will be asked, is this thing safe? No. A pen tester is going to be hired. So again, position yourself. Remember about documenting the experience. Here, you just need to do a few gigs, all right? However small does not matter, however big doesn't matter. The idea is to show this hands-on experience, all right? And security consultant or penetration tester job role. So I'm just saying that opportunities are there. Check the report to see how organizations are actually doing this, because in the cybersecurity strategy, these are aspects that organizations need to evaluate. That how sure are we that this software that we've been using from so many years ago is secure? Why not be sure that it really is secure? Do we need to do something for that to happen? Yeah, so pen test plus. Finally, we have this, advanced security practitioner. This is an advanced level certification for security architects, okay, and senior security engineers who are charged with leading and improving an enterprise cybersecurity. Now, here, think of it this way. You have all the tech on one hand, but you're working in a telco, you're working in a bank, you're working in a specific sector. You will add more value in that organization, in this role, if you also have an understanding of the business, all right? So that you can be effective. So here you're looking at not just being someone who monitors and who says this is what we should do. You're not speaking IT. This is a role where this person who occupies, he or she, okay, can sit with a team of techies, programmers, infrastructure engineers, cloud architects, and they will understand each other if they speak geek language, all right? But this is the same person who will go and, formally dressed and sit with the C-level of an organization, CEO, COO level, financial controller of a bank that is in multiple countries, worldwide, branches all over the place, and be able to speak in English and enable these people to understand, we need to do this to secure our business. We need to procure this software hardware, and he or she is explaining that in English. So we are talking about other capabilities that this particular role needs to possess, right? They are not just speaking tech, but they can easily speak to the business. And they can easily transition this conversation from, okay, this is what C-level have said, this is what we are going to do. This discussion can be converted to this same role, giving instructions to HR to say, we should have a new policy. These are the guidelines of the policy, all right? So is this making sense, Sasha?
Yes, it is.
Right. Yeah, so very few people, very few advanced security practitioners will very few of them will be people who just know tech. They will be people who know tech and they have other skills. Perhaps they have 1 or 2 business degrees, but they also now understand tech and they can help this organization to not only manage their security and their tech infrastructure, but they can also guide the team in crafting policies for the organization and have compliance. So these are the various areas that you can study and you can continue to pursue to become a cybersecurity practitioner or professional. So I bring back the question we started with. Are cybersecurity certifications worth it, right? Before I finish, I want to finish by looking at why certifications. Certifications bring in or indicate that you have an element of best practice. CompTIA certifications are ISO 17024 compliant, and they have global recognition. The US Department of Defense has a mandate. The UK Security Profession also has a mandate. And what this simply means is if you are to work in those geographies, all right, one of the elements they look for is what qualifications do you have, all right? Because they want to have proof that for us to give someone this role, to put someone in this role, to get a consultant to do certain work for the government, they need to have a formal understanding. They need to understand best practice from industry, right? So we may not have the same kind of recognition on a localized level, especially across maybe Africa, but it still stands that recognition makes sense. Should there be some sort of, for those of you who are going to now be consultants, who are looking at being consultants, you want to showcase that based on a world level of best practice, I have what it takes, right? I have recognition. I am validated. I am pre-vetted. I did not purchase the certificate. The certificate can be validated. If there is someone who has a CompTIA certificate for any of the certification exams, that can be sent to the CompTIA office, and it can be validated whether, yes, you actually did that exam, you actually earned that certification, that can be validated. So there is the validation from an industry level. There is also the recognition because of the process that you have gone through. So CompTIA participates, CompTIA gives input to the various entities across the world to make sure that we have a level of compliance, a level of recognition on the side of skills, all right? Which skills are we building through our curriculum? Which skills can we validate, or have we validated through our exams? So that is also something that is very important. Finally, I mentioned this earlier about the process. Why should you consider going to Moringa to study any of our CompTIA courses? Well, I talked about the knowledge acquisition. We have what we call the Cert Master Learn that they provide from the source. We have the practical application, the labs, and then, of course, to confirm the mastery, you can also get the Cert Master Practice, which is basically as you prepare for the certification, you can request and pay for the question bank and basically condition yourself to make sure that you are thoroughly prepared for the exam. And finally, once you pass the exam, you get certified. So that is how you get certified for success. And I hope that the answer is forming that whether certifications are worth it. Back to you, Sasha.
All right, thank you, Benjamin. I think you've answered the question so well. And I'm also convinced, I'm even feeling inspired of like pivoting now that I can see there are some business units that can, get an opportunity in cybersecurity. I'm feeling inspired to like get started with the beginner level certificates myself. All right, so let's see if we have questions. Please keep the questions coming. So Frank asks, can someone have both the pen test and analyst certification?
The answer is yes.
Okay, then a
Can I take
follow-up
that one first?
question. Okay, yes, please.
Yeah. So Frank, good question. So the answer is yes. All right. However, be tactful. Okay, that's Benjamin's opinion, not industry. Be tactful, because remember, there's the element of experience. There's the element of experience that I mentioned, and again, this is a Benjamin opinion, that the experience should be quantifiable. So you can go ahead, get blue team, red team. That's fine. But what will you be pitching, right? Some scenarios, if you're a consultant or if you've worked in those roles, you can definitely showcase. But it's about positioning yourself to have a specific recognition. So if it works for you, fine. If you want to apply both, it's still okay. It depends on your skills. It depends on your capacity, right? So there's nothing that stops you from doing both, but for the purpose of showcasing the experience when you're looking at getting the role or the job or applying for the consultancy, then that's where it will matter how you position yourself. Yeah, but there's nothing that stops you from getting both or even more. Yeah.
Okay. Then I think you've also answered the question. I was trying to combine it because it was quite similar around the element of timing. So Eric had asked, can you get these certifications back to back? Is there an experience timeline that's needed? I think Benjamin has covered that between each certification, if you choose to do them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that question has been answered. Let's take another one. Okay, Eric is asking if we can share this presentation with him after. So what we'll do, we'll send you the recording after. Yeah, that's the best you can do, but because of IP and all that, I don't think we'll be sharing the presentation decks kindly. We'll share this recording after for you to refer back to. Nunga Mwangi, I think you had unmuted yourself. Did you have a question for Benjamin? Nunga, you can proceed to ask your question. Okay, anyone who has a question around the certifications, career pathways for cybersecurity? As we wait for someone to unmute themselves. Okay, yes, George.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so he mentioned something like quantifying your skills and like displaying them maybe to the HR and all those people. So like as in cybersecurity, like is that displaying those certifications, like is that it? Is that all? Or like is there like okay, I have a background in software engineering, and there at least you can say that someone has a portfolio which has their projects, and at least that one can give a clear measure of someone's skills. So is just displaying that maybe that one in the LinkedIn enough, or does it go to those hacker ranks and all?
Okay. If I get your question right, it's about is certification enough? Certification is one element of showcasing or validating your skills. All right. So just like the portfolio that you're talking about for the software projects, here you're looking at, I have the certification to prove, I have the skills. All right. But beyond that, I have done project A, B, C, D, that are security oriented. Okay, those roles that we are talking about. So it's about making your profile strong, making yourself stand out to get the position. Another example, the first thing that happens for any recruiter is you receive, number one, you will receive so many applications. The number one thing is, how can I reduce this? How can I come up with the top 10? So different criteria can be applied. Criteria one could be who has certification. So you will end up there. If you just showed certification, you will end up among the top. However, the number of applicants might still be many. So there will need to be applied another criteria to like limit. So the criteria could be those who can showcase that they have been involved in projects. So comes now the experience, right? So it's about when you are applying for consultancy, when you are going to apply for a role, you really should put, you should be prepared in terms of, I don't want just to get my foot in the door. I don't want just to be called for the initial interview, but I want to go all the way. So make it such that you have recognition of, I have done the certification, but also I have the experience, right? Those two go together. So it's about making yourself more appealing, making yourself be the one to be picked over the next guy or girl. Yeah, that's what I can say. Yeah, so like I mentioned, on this angle of experience and the specific areas as far as cybersecurity, please check out the report. It's free for download, and get to understand as you plan your strategy as far as cybersecurity. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can share with us the link on the chat box, Benjamin, so that people can start downloading right now. Okay, so I'll take one or two questions. So one here, there's something interesting that you had mentioned when you were presenting the report. Sorry, Benjamin, could you just share to all?
Okay.
Okay. So, it's interesting to see that people are in the cybersecurity field. They are cybersecurity personnel in different capacities, but they still have some skills gap. Yeah. So that means there's a call for upskilling, right? So maybe you're here, you're still like at a junior level, or like at the help desk support, those roles and all that. There's room for you to upskill. So I just want Benjamin maybe to share with us, what are some of these skills gaps from the reports that were identified by employers in this cybersecurity personnel?
Okay. So that's a good question. Now, we should understand that the being in a role, having served in a role, the industry and generally the different roles someone might be in same organization or different, unless you're in the same industry. So such that even if you move from organization A, you go to B, things may not be so different, but we have this perspective of the organization has a structure, it has an order to how they do things, and you may not be in a position of influence, so to speak. So one of the things I mentioned that popped up in the report is the use of generative AI to be exploited to make things easier, better. So today, AI is for everyone. All right. It's not for specific few. Now, what is going to happen, and even the report mentions that AI is now coming in, it's accelerating capabilities of how do you detect, how do you test scenarios of, bouncing back once maybe a threat has been neutralized. So AI has got a role it's playing. So it is accelerating the capabilities of organizations in different ways. Now, again, what is going to happen? It's going to make the skills gap at organizations even wider, because if some people still prefer to do the old school, adoption takes time. We know that adoption may take time. So AI is one of the areas. Now, the cybersecurity skill gaps among internal employees, new threats are coming up. When I talk about new threats, it's not about what you knew as a threat yesterday. Let me give an example here. All of us from a localized context know very well when you receive a message that is saying, do not send to this number, send to this other number, and they're talking about money. Of course, that is a red flag, right? So we have a certain level of awareness of social engineering that has been used multiple times, okay? So there is a level of understanding that this is a common threat. But what is going to happen is you have the question of experience, all right? Experience, you have one brand of professionals that will continue building their skills while becoming familiar with your corporate culture and objectives, all right? Now, when this individual that has continued to scale up leaves, all right, that is them, that was their style. They are continuously scaling up. The person who comes in next, all right, will or might have a gap because their personality, how they do things is different. They got their certifications, they've not renewed, certifications change, right, because of new objectives. So the skill gap here I'm talking about is one I mentioned, coming in of AI. So it accelerates the gap that if one organization or one organization in the sector implements AI, you know, the way things are being done from a cybersecurity perspective, managing vulnerabilities, testing how to bounce back after a threat or something happened, that organization will thrive. If you have another organization, they have the manpower, but they're not using AI, for example, they are still remaining old school, that we'll do this the old way. Even that AI, we are not trusting it. So there is a gap. The other gap I'm talking about is with one individual in an organization who is continuously upgrading themselves versus another one who maintains that, you know, I'm already certified. So what else do I need to do? So there are bound to be some skill gaps when new individuals come and join into the organization, or when there is a transition from I was the main cybersecurity person, I have moved on. So everyone comes with their level of knowledge, right? And the level of knowledge is definitely not the same. So how this can be sorted, or the remedy would be developing, and again, here's where partners like Moringa can help organizations. The organizations can come to Moringa as partners of CompTIA and say, we want to assess our manpower. So we provide skills assessment to our partners to go into this client with hundreds of personnel or thousands, and we administer a skills assessment on which are available on all our certifications. That way we get to give the organization a report showing, here are your gaps. Okay, if someone has a role of infrastructure administrator, cloud architect, whatever it is, and we have given this assessment to the whole team, depending on the departments, the scores, or rather the report is going to show these are the gaps, right? So understanding those gaps for an organization is important, so that the organization can now plan, what can we do? How do we need to train our people to get to the acceptable level of skill? So yes, the gaps can come in those various ways that I mentioned, and something can be done through partners such as Moringa. So if there could be someone who is in an organization and where the management want to consider that, that's something that that's a benefit that you can get through Moringa. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Benjamin. Okay, so if there are no further questions for Benjamin, allow me to just quickly, because of time, I can see we're already like 30 minutes to the end of our webinar. Allow me to just share the course overview, what we offer at Moringa School, because I can see quite a number of questions coming in. How much is the cybersecurity analyst course? Do you have hybrid, physical classes? Why should I learn at Moringa vis-a-vis just going to pay for the exams on the CompTIA platform? So I'll be answering all that in a few. Just give me a minute. I want me to share my screen. And also for anyone who's interested in joining, I'll be sharing upcoming intake dates and how to apply for those courses. If you still have questions, industry relevant questions, career pathways for Benjamin, please leave them on the chat box. I promise we don't want to leave anything unattended. Okay. All right. So very briefly, I'll be telling you all a bit more about our cybersecurity course offering at Moringa School. We started our first prep course or introductory course in last year, and I'm very excited to see how this has been, taken up in the industry. So many students, so many people are curious and interested in upskilling in cybersecurity, which is great. I think it's one of those skills, like just like AI, AI basics, computer skills basics. I feel like cybersecurity is one of those tech skills that everyone needs to have, because we are all online. Everybody is handling devices. We're even going into a heavily AI-centered virtual reality kind of like generation. So I think everybody needs to secure themselves at any point. As long as you're interacting online, your data is somewhere there, I think it's very important for you to have cybersecurity basic skills, of which we do have that here at Moringa. So I don't know if you've noticed, but we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And in a nutshell, this is why you should join Moringa School, honestly. So we've been in the industry for 10 years. You can trust us. We know what we are doing. Employers vouch for us. We have very long-term and long-lasting relationships with various employers in the industry, both locally here in Kenya, in Africa, and across the globe. We also have a huge, vast alumni community. You can see that we've been adding onto our course offering. So be rest assured you're going to have access to one of the largest tech bootcamp alumni community in Kenya. People who have advanced their tech careers, specializing in data fields, cybersecurity fields, AI, software engineering, product design, UI, UX, front end, and so much more. So, if that sounds good, you want to network, Moringa is your first option, honestly. Then we have proven excellence in delivering market-centric tech education. We've had Benjamin mentioning about these skills gap that are still being identified in different cybersecurity personnel, So maybe you took up this certificate like 9 years ago. You need to continuously upskill yourself and keep up with market, or rather in-demand skills in the market, right? You have to keep up with the market trends, how tech is evolving, and Moringa School is at the forefront of that, okay? So all our curriculum, you can see we are partnering with CompTIA. We're the official training partner here in Sub-Saharan Africa. Be rest assured, they are always updating their curriculum, and so are we here at Moringa School. You get technical mentor support, right? So for those who are thinking, let me just pay for the exams, we have technical mentors who are certified and experienced, okay? They've worked in various roles. They are CompTIA certified. They've also taken up other for instance, ethical hacking, certifications. They've worked in different industries. So you have a lot that you can learn from getting support from this technical mentor. So don't do it alone. Don't be in a silo. Invest in Moringa School and you'll be able to get so much more. Then our learning resembles the workplace, right? Like I said, there's some people who are worried about, I'm just getting started. I don't even have the experience. But like Benjamin said, you also need to showcase, and quantify the experience that you have. So based off the projects that you'll be working here, you'll be contributing to open source projects, projects that we've been given by employers, and you can even get paid projects, paid opportunities. You can see that we resemble the workplace, and it's going to be a smooth transition for you to get into your first tech role, either in cyber or any other field. Then we are TVETA accredited. So we're not running a gimmick, guys. We are accredited by the government of Kenya. Our certificates are recognized, they are valid, and yeah, you can even I don't know, I don't want to preempt this, but like you can create like our certificates are credible. That's what I'm trying to say. So maybe you're going back to school to upskill in another field, maybe a master's or a degree program. You're able to showcase that you already have these fundamental skills, or you've already covered your training up to a certain level. So it cuts across the board. So these are just some of the perks of becoming part of the Moringa community. So yeah, these are some of the courses that I've mentioned that we offer. So we have an introduction to cybersecurity course. So this one is ideal for anyone who's completely new to the world of cybersecurity. You've seen in the pathways that were presented before by Benjamin, there are some prerequisites that you need before you take up the intermediate, advanced, professional certificate level. So our cybersecurity prep course is a starting point for anyone who wants to get into cyber. So for this, we have both a full-time and part-time option. All our courses are online. So our full-time track is 5 weeks. But this one you need to commit 8 to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. Then the part-time option is a bit longer. So these are evening classes from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the weekdays, and it runs for 12 weeks. So there is no difference in the pricing. Our cybersecurity prep, the introduction to cybersecurity course is just 35,000 Kenyan shillings. So anyone who's interested in getting into cybersecurity, this is your starting point. You can start here. We'll be sharing the links to the website where you can read up more on what you will cover, what you will learn, and the outcomes of this cybersecurity prep on the chat box. So please look out for the link on the chat box. Then very quickly, once you're done with the cybersecurity prep, you can take up the Security Plus, CompTIA Security Plus Bootcamp. You've seen Benjamin has mentioned that, you know, it's advised for you to get some industry experience in between the certificates, but I feel like between prep and Security Plus, you can easily move from one to the next immediately. So once you're done, let's say with the introduction to cybersecurity, I think you can very quickly join the next cohort for the CompTIA Security Plus Bootcamp because it sets you up a bit further in the industry. So this is an intermediary course for aspiring cybersecurity specialists. There are different roles that you can take up with this knowledge, training, and certification from CompTIA. So for this program, I know people are asking about part-time, but this one we only offer it on full-time for now. We're going to roll out a part-time option very soon. So it runs for 23 weeks. It's full-time online, weekdays, 8 to 5 p.m. And that is the tuition fee. It's 200,000 Kenyan shillings. and we pay the exam fee separately. It's highly discounted according to the in comparison to the industry rates. So be rest assured. Remember, I started with the reasons why you should join Moringa. So keep that in mind even as you're seeing these figures. It's worth the ROI for you. Then some good news for our alumni. So here, an alumni is anyone who has taken any course from Moringa School before. Whether you had done software engineering, data science, cybersecurity prep, if you apply for a bootcamp, a cybersecurity, as a CompTIA Security Plus bootcamp, you automatically qualify for a discount. Okay, so you'll only pay a tuition fee of 185,000 Kenyan shillings and the exam fee at that stated amount. Okay, so if you're an alumni here, I've seen Jimmy, you've done software engineering, and I can see you're very curious about cyber. So take advantage of this offer. It's always on. So if you're an alumni, you qualify for this discount offer. Like I said, we are sharing the links on the chat box. So please read up a bit more on the entry requirements, what you're going to cover, and so much more around the CompTIA Security Plus bootcamp. Then last but not least, you can see, I think right now you can connect the dots based off the roadmap that Benjamin had shared. We also have the CYSA Plus bootcamp here at Moringa. So this one, like you saw, it's on the advanced level. So depending on whether you're curious about becoming a blue team specialist or a red team specialist, at least we have one on offer here. You can pursue the CYSA Plus pathway with us. So this is a new course. It's going to start on the 2nd of September. So be on the lookout for it. We've shared the link as well. So if you're interested, you can apply for it. It's a part-time online course that runs for 20 weeks. And because we are targeting, because we are targeting professionals for it, you can see that we've had you in mind. So it will be part-time, evening online classes. You can take it up from wherever you are. And the tuition fee for this is 200,000 Kenyan shillings for all. And the exam fee will be offered at 181. So the conversion rate, you'll see that. We are going to leave you some contact details from for our admissions team. They'll be able to clarify for you the breakdown a bit more. But for now, just have these summarized details in mind. And also, once you click on the links we've shared on the website, it's a bit more detailed. So feel free to drop us a question, an email, give us a call, and we'll be able to give you more information. All right. Let me see. Okay, so I'm about to finish. So why learn cybersecurity at Moringa again? Remember, our program is tailor-made for employability, okay? So we want to make sure by the time you're done with Moringa School, you're very competitive in the market and you're able to land a well-paying job opportunity, right? So how do we do this? We've partnered with CompTIA to offer majority of our cybersecurity courses. Like you can see, CompTIA is ISO certified, it's globally recognized. So on our end, we are making sure we are also adding value to the CompTIA certifications. So this is how we do our training. It's project-based, okay? You won't just be getting materials and learning and reading up and cramming for the exams. You're going to have to work on projects, build your portfolio. Then we offer comprehensive tech training and preparations for the certification exams, okay? So apart from the modules that you'll be covering in each of these boot camps, we also prepare you for those exams. Just make sure you're well prepped so that you do very well on the day that you'll be sitting for them. Then you'll have access to different industry relevant labs for cybersecurity specialists. Like we said, with CompTIA, automatically you'll have access to SAT-Master Learn, SAT-Master Labs. Then additionally, like I said, we are project-based. So you're gonna get vouchers and access to Let's Defend Labs and Try Hack Me Labs, just additional materials for you to work on your projects. Like I said, you're going to get dedicated technical mentor support. Then our exam vouchers for CompTIA are also very highly discounted, like I said. And last but not least, you get dual certification. So one of the questions we've addressed today is around like, are certificates worth it? Yes, they are, because they help you stand out to recruiters, right? So on your LinkedIn, once they see, okay, you have a Moringa training certificate there, it's already TVET accredited, it's globally recognized, and then you're also adding very like key cybersecurity certificates from CompTIA. You see, like, you position yourself to be very competitive in the job market. So these are just some of the perks of learning cybersecurity at Moringa. So upcoming intake dates, for those who are just starting out, or you have someone who's just at home, maybe they're on long holiday, tell them to sign up for the Introduction to Cybersecurity course. It's just 5 weeks at 35,000 shillings. The classes start on August 26th. So refer as many people for that. For anyone who wants to advance, like go to the next level, they have IT networking skills. It might be you might have a friend, a sibling. We have an intake on the 5th of August for the CompTIA Security Plus Bootcamp. So ask them to, send them our way. And then last but not least, we are going to kick off our first ever CYSA Plus Bootcamp on the 2nd of September this year. So if you've already done Security Plus, you've already done Introduction to Cybersecurity, that's amazing. Continue advancing, come back and sign up for the Cybersecurity Analyst Bootcamp as well. How to apply? It's very simple. Just visit our website, fill in the form. We have very simple tests. Like we said, there's some criteria that you have to follow in admissions process for you to qualify. So based off the results that you get an admission decision. It's 3 steps, very simple, very quick, very self-explanatory. So just explore that on the website. For people who are asking about fee payments, we have various installment plans. You can also pay upfront, and if you're not able to afford the fees right now, we do have student financing. So we've partnered with various student loan providers. So once you email us or contact us through the contact details we've shared there, we'll be able to direct you to some of these organizations that can help you finance your studies at Moringa. So the earlier you reach us, the sooner we can provide you with the support to get the funds to pay for these courses. Yeah, so I think that's that on my end. I don't know if there are any burning questions for me before we come to the end of our webinar today. Any burning questions? Feel free to ask.
Hey,
Okay.
Sasha.
Yes.
Hey, Sasha. Yeah, hope you can hear me. So,
Yes, sir.
I am in the graduate support program for the software engineering, but
Okay.
as I mentioned earlier, I kind of switched my career to cybersecurity, and my focus is there. So, okay, I usually receive those emails from the graduates team to apply to those opportunities, which are specifically related to software engineer. So, like, my question is okay, like, can I like maybe be taken to like the graduate support for cybersecurity or something, or do I necessarily have to have done that specific course at Moringa School?
Okay, that's a very good question. So our graduate support programs have been tailor-made for the different, or rather for the specific tracks that you've taken at Moringa. So that's why you're seeing like in the group, or rather like the kind of information, emails, invitations that you receive, job opportunities, they're all tailor-made to software engineering because that's what you took up. So yeah, I think maybe you can talk to one of the graduate support program leads and see how they can support you on a one-on-one basis. But what I know is it's been tailor-made depending on the course that you took at Moringa. So yeah, if you can come and upskill in a cybersecurity course, please do. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
Thank you, George. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I think we've come to the end of our webinar today. I'd like to appreciate Benjamin so much for taking the time to, just demystify the different career pathways for cybersecurity, the different certifications that you need to take, how to position yourself. So thank you so much for sharing those